I'm not the kind of guy people notice in a crowd. I don't wear flashy clothes or talk too loud. I'm a maintenance supervisor at a local school district, been there for almost 12 years now. Married to Dana for 6 of those. She's a nurse, works the evening shift at the hospital. We don't live large, but we've got a nice little house just outside of town and 2 dogs that I thought made us a family, for now at least. We'd been talking about kids this year. Things started to feel off right around my birthday in April. Dana forgot it, completely. Not a text, not a card, nothing. She said the hospital had a last-minute staffing issue and she had to cover for someone. I didn't think much of it at the time. Nurses get slammed a lot. But it kept happening. Little things. She started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. Her hair was suddenly done up even for early shifts. And the scrubs. She used to wear the same tired sets on rotation. Now, she had new ones, form-fitting, trendy colors. One night I was in the garage, changing the oil in her car. I popped the glove compartment to check her registration and saw a folded receipt from some rooftop bar downtown. A $98 bill. 2 drinks, an appetizer, and 2 entrees. Tip written neatly in her handwriting. It wasn't from a girl's night. Dana never tips 25% for anyone but a man. I held onto the receipt. I couldn't sleep that night. I just kept looking at her across the bed, wondering who she was texting so quietly when she thought I was asleep. The next morning, I made a decision. I didn't want to accuse her without proof. But I wasn't going to keep sitting in the dark either. I'm not a jealous guy. Never have been. But there's a difference between jealousy and knowing something just doesn't sit right. I didn't go off the deep end. I didn't scream at her. I didn't start flipping drawers looking for clues. I just started paying attention. The first thing I did was dig out an old burner phone I had from work. We used them when our crew switched job sites out of range. Still worked fine. I installed a GPS tracker app on it, then waited for the right moment. One Sunday morning, she was in the shower, singing like she didn't have a care in the world. I slipped her iPhone out of her purse and paired it with the burner using a hidden tracking link. Marvin, a buddy of mine who used to do some freelance Pi work, helped me set up. Just like that, her location would ping to me every few minutes. I slid her phone back in her purse before the shower even stopped running. That same night, she told me she was picking up an extra shift. Sandra's out sick again, she said casually, not looking up from her phone. They asked me to cover. It'll be a 3 to 11 shift. I nodded like I believed her. At 7:43 p.m., I watched the GPS ping. Redwood Inn, Eastside. Not the hospital, not even close. I just sat there on the couch, holding that burner phone like it was a loaded gun. She texted me at 9:15, slow night, might be a bit late. She even sent a little heart emoji. I didn't confront her, not yet. That wouldn't do any good. Instead, I opened up a notes app and started documenting everything. Time, place, pattern. The next day I told her I'd be working overtime all week. She barely blinked, almost like she was relieved. So that week, I didn't go to work. I took personal days. And I followed her. I saw her meet him on Tuesday. Tall guy, scrubs too, same hospital logo on the chest. Maybe a nurse, maybe a doctor. I parked across from the diner they sat at, watched her laugh at jokes I couldn't hear, touch his wrist when he talked like she used to do with me. She even ordered the same damn salad she said she hated when I got it. It stung, but I kept filming. My phone stayed steady in my hand while my whole body wanted to storm across that street. She didn't come home until after midnight. When she slipped into bed next to me, I pretended to be asleep. And in that moment, I realized something. This wasn't about hurt feelings anymore. It was about respect, about what she thought I was too dumb to see. I wasn't dumb, and I wasn't going to be quiet for much longer. By Thursday night, I had enough to confirm what I already knew. Dana was cheating. No more guessing, no more wondering. 3 nights in a row, she met the same man. Once at that diner, once in the back parking lot of the hospital where she worked late, and once at his apartment complex. I got footage of them holding hands, kissing at the car, even walking inside together. The hard part wasn't seeing it, it was pretending not to know when she got home and kissed me goodnight. I'd go brush my teeth after, not because I needed to, but because I couldn't stomach the taste of someone else's lips on mine. I knew I couldn't confront her without leverage. That's what Marvin told me when I showed him the pictures and GPS logs. If you're gonna divorce her, he said, you need to play it smart. Don't tip your hand too early. You tip it now, and all you're getting is a broken heart and half your savings gone. I nodded. So what do I do? You take everything away from her. Quietly. And that's what I started doing. First, I opened a new checking account and began moving money. Just small amounts at first, $200 here, $150 there. Enough to not trigger her attention. I changed the password on my retirement accounts. Moved my direct deposit to the new bank. I took the spare title to my truck, which we owned free and clear, and locked it in a safe at work. Then I went to a lawyer. She specialized in divorce and damn near lit up when I told her what I had. Adultery's tough to prove, she said, but not when you have what you have: time-stamped photos, location logs, patterns. If she contests it, she'll lose. Especially if he works at her hospital. Workplace policy could nuke them both. I wasn't after revenge, not yet, anyway. But I sure as hell wasn't letting her walk away clean. We didn't have kids, but the house was in my name. I'd paid for 80% of it before we even got married. Still, she'd try to come after it if she thought I was the bad guy. So I had to make her the bad guy, legally. I waited until Saturday to test something. Told her I was heading out of town to help my brother with a busted water heater. Told her I'd be gone overnight. She barely asked any questions. Kissed me goodbye like she was already mentally somewhere else. Be safe, she said. An hour later, I doubled back, parked 2 blocks away, and waited. By 7 p.m., she left the house, dressed in that same black top I used to love. She didn't know I'd placed a motion-activated cam inside the living room earlier that week. She didn't know I could watch her walk out the front door like she owned the night. By 7:40, they were at the Redwood Inn again. Same room, same routine. This time, I walked up to the front desk, flashed a fake badge Marvin lent me from his security days, and asked for a printed guest registry. Clerk didn't ask twice. Her name was on it. Dana Rollins. His name too. Bradley Myers. I stared at that slip of paper for a long time. Then I smiled. She had no idea that while she was cheating in that room, her husband was standing downstairs, quietly taking everything away from her. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was upset. No, that part had burned out of me days ago. I didn't sleep because I was planning. Because now, it was about execution. Sunday morning, I went to church. I hadn't stepped foot inside in over a year. But I shook hands, smiled at familiar faces, and sat through the whole service next to my mother like I didn't have a single thing on my mind. When I got home, Dana was already back. She was in the kitchen, hair damp, wearing one of my old shirts like she used to when things were good between us. She turned and smiled at me. "Missed you," she said. I just nodded. "Everything okay here?" "Yeah," she said without blinking. "Just took a long bath and cleaned up a little." She lied so easily, it almost impressed me. Over dinner, she told me stories about a patient at work who'd fallen asleep mid-bite during their dinner tray. Laughed while she mimed it. I sat there watching her pretend to be the woman I married, warm, funny, loving. I was staring at a stranger. The next morning, I took half a day off work and went back to my lawyer. Dropped the guest registry and photos on her desk. She took one look and said, "Let's file." Then we served her, on a Wednesday, while she was at work. The nurse's station is open concept, and according to Marvin, who pulled some strings at the hospital, she got served right there, in front of 3 coworkers. One of them was even the unit director. Timing was no accident. Let her explain that. She texted me at 2:17 p.m. "WTF is this? Are you divorcing me?" I didn't respond. At 3:03, she called. I let it ring. At 4:26, she walked through the front door with a face like thunder. Tossed her purse on the floor and said, "You blindsided me." I looked her dead in the eyes. "You've been lying to me for months. Sleeping with another man. You're lucky this is all I did." She froze. "I know about Bradley," I added. "I know about the hotel, the diner, his apartment, the fake shifts, the lies. I know everything." She tried to deny it at first. Some pathetic excuse about emotional distance and how we'd been growing apart. But I didn't let her control the narrative. I told her this wasn't some "we both made mistakes" situation. You cheated. You lied. You kept doing it. And now you're going to live with the consequences. Then I handed her the folder my lawyer prepared. It spelled out the terms clearly. I keep the house. T was in my name before the marriage. I keep my truck, pension, and savings. She had no claim. She walks away with what she brought in, her car, her clothes, and a bit of joint savings we split for fairness. Fairness. Funny word. She stood there holding the papers like they were covered in fire. I can't believe you did this. I finally let out a dry laugh. No, Dana, you can't believe I caught you. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood there, realizing for the first time that she didn't have control anymore. And that was the beginning of her unraveling. She moved into her sister's guest room 2 days later. Said it was just until things cooled off. Truth was, she had nowhere else to go. Bradley, Mr. Rooftop Bar, wasn't about to play house with someone mid-divorce. Turned out he was married too, with kids, and now, he was suddenly unavailable. That made me laugh. She tried texting me a few times after that. Stuff like, "Can we at least talk like adults? Do you really hate me this much? We were supposed to be partners." I didn't answer any of it. My lawyer told me not to, but even if she hadn't, I wouldn't have. Talking would have given her the illusion that there was something to salvage. That maybe I still owed her an explanation. I didn't. Instead, I focused on the fallout. She lost her job at the hospital. Apparently, fraternization between staff isn't taken too lightly when you're sleeping with someone 2 rungs up the ladder. Especially when it happens on site. Marvin told me someone leaked the security cam footage of them sneaking into the staff locker room. Not sure who, but let's just say I made a few phone calls. Dana tried to spin it as a personal leave, but word spread fast. Small towns eat gossip for breakfast. Soon everyone at church, the gym, even the bar where she used to meet her friends, everyone knew. That little world she built behind my back, it collapsed. But me? I got real quiet. Just showed up to work, kept my head down, and smiled a little more than usual. That seemed to bother her more than anything, that I wasn't lashing out. That I wasn't begging her for closure. That I wasn't broken. Truth is, I was hurt. Deeply. But I wasn't going to let her watch me bleed. Then came the day I ran into her. It was at the grocery store, of all places. I turned into the bread aisle and there she was. No makeup, messy bun, looking smaller than I remembered. Like the world had taken a little out of her. She stopped mid-step when she saw me. "Hey," she said, real quiet. I looked at her, nodded once. "Dana, you look good." I didn't say anything, just grabbed the loaf of bread I came for. "I lost everything, you know," she blurted out. "The job, my friends. I don't even know who I am anymore." I turned to her then. Looked her square in the eyes. "That's the difference between us, Dana. I knew who I was. You're the one who didn't." She looked like she wanted to cry, but I didn't stay long enough to see. Later that night, I sat on my porch with a beer and thought about everything. The years, the laughs, the lies, all of it, and the truth settled in, cold and final. Her biggest punishment wasn't the divorce. It was losing access to the version of me that would have done anything for her. That man was gone. A few weeks after the run-in at the grocery store, the paperwork was finalized. Divorce granted, no contest. She didn't fight it, probably because she knew she'd lose. Or maybe she just didn't have the energy anymore. That should have been the end of it. But it didn't feel like enough. Not really. See, revenge isn't always loud. It's not keying someone's car or shouting at them in public. Sometimes, it's watching someone burn their own life to the ground while you stand quietly on the sidelines, untouched. Still, there was one last piece I couldn't let go. Bradley. This guy walked away clean. No blown-up marriage, no consequences, just a notch on his belt and a deleted contact in his phone. That didn't sit right with me. So, I found out where his wife worked. Real estate office, 2 towns over. I called anonymously and asked if she handled divorce listings, said I had a house I might want to offload soon. Asked if I could come by. She agreed. Her name was Meredith. She was kind, warm, the kind of person Dana used to pretend to be. We sat in her office, and I handed her a manila envelope with photos and printouts. I lied, I said, "I don't have a house to sell. But I thought you deserved to know what your husband's been doing on Monday and Thursday nights at the Redwood Inn." She didn't say anything for a long time. Just stared at the photos. Her hands trembled. "I'm sorry," I said. She nodded once. "Thank you for telling me. No one else would've." That was it. No drama. No scene. I walked out of that office knowing I'd just changed someone's life, but not out of malice. Out of fairness. Bradley didn't show up at the hospital again after that. Word was, he moved out of state within the month. Dana tried to contact me once more after that, asking if I'd had anything to do with it. I never replied, because that part of my life, the version of me that needed answers or apologies, it was over. I started spending more time with my brother's kids, picking up odd projects around the house. I finally started hiking again. Signed up for a cooking class. Even started sleeping better, and one night, I went out for drinks with a few coworkers. One of them, Lauren, had been divorced a few years. Smart, funny, quiet like me. We stayed at the bar until it closed, just talking about life and the messes people make. When we got outside, she looked at me and said, "You're not like most guys I've met." I just smiled. "I used to be." She laughed, and we walked toward the parking lot. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel bitter. I didn't feel betrayed. I didn't feel angry. I felt free. It had been 6 months since the divorce when the letter arrived. Not a text, not an email, a real, handwritten letter, folded neatly in an envelope, my name scrawled in Dana's handwriting. For a while, I just left it sitting on the counter. A part of me didn't want to open it. I wasn't afraid of what was inside. I was afraid of what it might pull back up. But one quiet night, after finishing the lawn and cracking open a beer on the porch, I finally sat down and read it. "Eli, I don't expect this to change anything. I just wanted to say it out loud, or write it, anyway. You didn't deserve what I did. You were good to me. Better than I probably ever realized. And I threw that away for something that never meant as much as I pretended it did. I've been living in my sister's basement. I lost my job, most of my friends. Even Bradley ghosted me when things got messy. I wish I could say I learned something sooner. But it took losing everything to see it. You were right not to fight with me. You were right to walk away. I hope you're happy, Eli. I really do. Dana." I read it once, then again, then folded it up and set it back in the envelope. Not out of sentiment, but out of closure. She didn't ask for forgiveness. And I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to give it. But it didn't matter anymore. The truth is, revenge wasn't the satisfying part. Not the tracking, not the trap, not the fallout. It was that I survived it. Quietly, completely. She took something from me when she cheated, no question. But I took something from her, too. Her comfort, her image of herself as the good guy, her power over me, and that's what stayed with her. That's what would sit on her chest every night. A month later, Lauren and I were walking through the farmer's market, laughing about something small, something simple. She reached out and took my hand without thinking. And I realized I hadn't thought about Dana in days. That was the real end of the story. No blowout, no drama, no flames. Just the quiet weight of a woman who lost a man that would have given her everything. And the steady peace of a man who finally learned he didn't need her to feel whole.